Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video, we'll go through the prizes that are in the 1000 subscriber giveaway, and we'll take a close look at their fighter cards and abilities. If you haven't entered the competition already, then there's still a chance for you to enter and be in line to win either the Chaotic Beast box set or the pro-painted Ogroid Myrmidon. And in this video, we'll go through both of these prizes, take a look at their fighter cards and abilities, and see why they're such important miniatures to add to your Warcry game. It's really easy to enter. Just go to the video with the thumbnail that you can see here, and I'll put a link in the description and also at the end of this video, and then all you have to do is follow the instructions. If you're in the US, then you could win the fantastic Ogroid Myrmidon pro-painted by my friend and artist Bjorn Hansen. This is such an incredible prize, and I'm so grateful to Bjorn for donating and painting this miniature, and whoever wins it is going to be really lucky. The quality of this miniature is just brilliant, and it was recently featured on Warhammer TV for the Hobby Roundup, so you really are in for a treat here. The Ogroid Myrmidon has got to be one of the best miniatures out there for Warcry, and it makes a great addition to the game. And what an amazing job Bjorn has done painting this beast up. That bloodstained shield just looks so cool, and those kind of rune marks that are seared and burnt into the skin look great, and the flesh tone of the beast all over is just spot on. I mean, this is brilliant. If you win this, then you're going to be so lucky. It'd be brilliant if you could give a like and follow Bjorn, and I'll put a link to his Instagram and Twitter where you can see his work and keep up to date with all his fabulous artwork. I'm so grateful to Bjorn for donating and painting this prize, and I can't wait to see who wins it, and I hope you have great fun playing it in your game. But let's take a look at the fighter card and the abilities for this beast and see how he plays on the battlefield. Okay, so let's take a look at our fighter type card. And so this guy, he is 295 points. He's got a Chaotic Beast rune mark. And he's also got these two here. This one means he's like an ally, so you can use him in your different war bands. He's got a movement of 5, can take 35 damage with a toughness of 6. And here he's got his weapon, which is the spear, and he's got range of 2, can make 3 attacks, strength 5, dealing 4 to 8 on a crit. So this guy's really cool. He's going to be a great addition to a war band, and I can't wait to build it and see what he looks like. But before we do that, let's look at the abilities. Here we are. So we get 3 abilities here, and on a double it's called Berserk. A fighter can only use this ability if 20 or more damage points have been allocated to them. Add half the value of this ability, rounding up, to the attacks characteristic of the next attack action made by this fighter, this activation, that has a range characteristic of 3 or less. Okay, so that was quite a mouthful there, but breaking it down, as long as he's took 20 points of damage, he can use this ability on a double, and you want it to be high, so certainly 4 or up, or 3, 4, 5 or 6, and then that's going to give him extra that he can add to his attack characteristic. So if you even get a 4 or a 3 and you halve it, then we're looking at 2, so he can then make 5 attacks. So that's really great. If you get 5 or 6, you can add 3 to that. So that's a really great ability there for a double, but he has to have taken 20 damage points before he can use it. Okay, he's also got another one here on a triple called Arcane Fury. Until the end of this fighter's activation, add the value of this ability to the damage points allocated by each critical hit from attack actions made by this fighter that have a range characteristic of 3 or less. Okay, another mouthful here. All our range characteristics are going to be 3 or less, so that's no problem. Again, if this is high, like 5 or 6 triple here, triple 5s or 6s, we can add the value of the ability to the damage points allocated by critical hits. So only critical hits, but that's going to take this 8 to potentially 14. So whoa, that's huge. This is a beast. He's really good, and I'm loving the ability so far. So let's see what the next ability is, and on a quad it's called Blood Marshal. Pick a friendly fighter within 4 inches of the fighter using this ability. Allocate 1 damage point to that fighter. If the fighter picked is not taken down, that fighter can make a bonus attack action that has a range characteristic of 3 or less. Okay, I didn't expect an ability like this, but you've got to be close to another fighter, a friendly fighter, within 4 inches, and then you give them 1 damage point. If it doesn't take them down, then they can make a bonus attack action as long as their range is 3 or less. I don't know how that fits in with him really, but I like the first 2 a lot, and I guess he's such a big presence on the battlefield. He's going to inspire everyone around him to get stuck in. So it kind of makes sense. But I think these 2 are much better. And I'll definitely be looking forward to using this Arcane Fury. But there we go. That's our abilities and all the stats for our Ogroid Myrmidon. And it just looks awesome. If you're in the UK or Europe, then you could win the Chaotic Beasts box set for Warcry. This is a great set with some awesome miniatures, and if you were lucky enough to get the original core set for Warcry, then I believe these were included in that. But if you came late to the game like me and started with Catacombs, then you wouldn't have these Chaotic Beasts included as standard. So they're a great addition to pick up and definitely important for the game. And you can see here that in the core book, there's actually rules, and on some of the twist cards, there's some rules that apply to Chaotic Beasts. And so, yeah, they're a really important part of the game, and so these will be a great prize if you don't have them already. There's a video on my channel that goes in depth about unboxing these with all the contents, but I'll take a little clip from that now so you can see the fighter cards and abilities, so you know exactly what you're going to get and how these are going to play on the battlefield. Here we go. So we've got our Furies, and they're going to come in at 70 points. They've got quite a bit of movement here. That's pretty cool. And their rune marks, we're looking at they can fly, they've got the Thrall rune mark, and this is sentience. I haven't seen this before, but I guess that's hinting that these just aren't any beasts, they're thinking beasts, so we've got to look out for those. And we've got a movement of 8, they can take 8 wounds, and toughness 3, and they're attacking with their claws and teeth and daggers, so they've got to get up close and personal, so that weapons range is 1, and then they've got 3 attacks, that's 3 dice, strength 3, and then they're going to deal 1 to 2 on a crit. And then these are the rune marks for the abilities, so we'll check those out in a little while. But now let's move on to the Raptorix. And they're coming in at 105 points, and they've got a movement of 5. They can take 12 wounds with a toughness 4. So a bit tougher, these guys. And that's not as much movement, though. So a little bit less movement. They've got the Thrall rune mark, and also this one next to it is the Berserker rune mark. And that's one, I don't think I've come across that yet either. And then they're attacking with their claws and beaks with a range of 1, 2 attacks, strength 4, dealing 2 to 5 on a crit. So for 105 points to deal 2 to 5, that's pretty impressive. Even though they've only got 2 attacks, it's still pretty high, but I guess that's going to kind of balance it out a little bit. And as well as that, they can take 12 wounds. They're pretty tough, these ones. And I think a flock of these coming at you is going to be pretty intimidating, doing 2 attacks, 2 to 5 on a crit. So that's not bad at all, not for 105 points. So we'll see the abilities for these 2. And so let's get the ability cards and take a look at that now. The ability cards, and in all the Warcry packs, they come in these different languages, but we only need the English. So let's take that one out and put the others to one side. And you can see here that we get the 2 images and the 2 abilities on the same side of the card, and usually you'd have the fighter types on one side and the abilities on the other, but it's a little bit different here, I guess because we've only got 2 abilities and there's only 2 fighters, so it makes sense to put it on one side. But if we flip it over, we get the universal abilities that are included in the core book. This is a real bonus. I'm really happy with this, because with the Catacombs set, you didn't get the universal ability card, you just have to use the core book. So now we can use this card on the tabletop while we're playing, and we can refer to that instead of having to have the book out, which is really great. So I'm really happy that this came in the box. I didn't expect this until I opened it. So having those abilities on this card is brilliant. So we've almost got the starter set now. We just need a couple of extra things, and then we've got it all. So this is great. Right, so let's check out the specific abilities for the Fury and the Raptorix. And let's start with the Fury. Here we go. So this is the Sentience rune mark. So we match that up there. And this one is a double called Cover. And it says, until the end of the battle round, count each critical hit from attack actions that target this fighter has a hit instead. Okay, let's just break that down a little bit. So that's pretty straightforward. Until the end of the round, any critical hits come in at this guy here, they're just going to be counted as normal hits. So that's really good. So they're going to be pretty annoying if there's 6 of those attacking you and you've got your big guys dealing out crits, but they're only going to count as usual normal hits. They're going to take some taking down, and they've got 8 wounds, which doesn't sound a lot, but if you can't roll crits against them, then they're going to be pretty annoying, really. So that's really interesting. And for 70 points to bring that to the table, I think that's pretty good. So yeah, that's nice. So a nice double as well. So they haven't got to roll much to get that. And with those stats combined at the bottom, pretty good. Pretty good. Right, now let's check out the next one for the Raptorix. And then this one's a double as well. So again, we're matching up those rune marks, the Berserker. There we go. And the Beast rune mark too. So this is a double called Crazed Flock. Until the end of this fighter's activation, for each other friendly fighter within 3 inches of this fighter that has the same rune marks as the fighter, add 1 to the attacks and strength characteristics of attack actions made by this fighter that have a range characteristic of 3 or less. Oh, that's a bit of a mouthful. I'm just going to break this down a bit and let's have a look at this. Okay, so the idea here is these guys are in a flock. So they're all going to be together. So that means that for each other friendly fighter within 3 inches of that fighter, there's a good chance they're going to be together. And they're going to have the same rune mark. So they're all going to be the same Raptorixes. And then the fighter can add 1 to the attack and strength characteristic of attack actions made by this fighter that have a range of 3 or less. So it's definitely got a range of 3 or less. So we can just leave that little bit out for a minute. So basically, the number of fighters that are within 3 inches of this fighter, we can add that number to the attack and strength characteristics. But that's a lot, isn't it? So, I mean, that's mad. For 105 points to get that ability, that's quite a lot. So you could do some serious damage there. Certainly if you've got like a pack of them, like even just 4 or 3, and you're the one in the middle, there's a couple of extra points to add on there. So we can have, instead of 2 attacks, it's going to be 4, and that strength is going to be 6. So that's really going to be tough to beat. And then rolling 2 to 5s on a crit, these guys are mental. So that's really good. So that's great. That's our abilities then, and that's for both the Fury and the Raptorix. So that sums up the prizes for the 1,000 subscriber celebration giveaway, and I really hope you enter if you haven't already. So just go to the video that has the thumbnail that looks like this, and then follow the instructions in that video. And I'll put a link down in the description below and also at the very end of this video. The winners for the Chaotic Beasts and the Ogroid Myrmidon will be chosen at random and announced on Sunday, the 28th of February 2021. Thanks so much for your support, likes and comments, and for subscribing to the channel. It would be awesome to see you on Patreon too. Good luck in the competitions, and I can't wait to see you back here on Sunday the 28th of February, where I'll announce the winners.